Hello. Ooh, I gotta move over here a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all today? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Best day ever. Ooh, my lighting is kind of weird. Hang on. Hang on. Hi, everybody. Can you tell me if you can see me and you can hear me? Yes, Michelle, you can see me, you can hear me. Let's see who's here today. Hey, Maria. Diane, first day. Welcome to class. Maria, you can see me, you can hear me. Diane, this is your first time here, so in the chat button, if you can just write, I can see you, I can hear you. That would be fantastical. And you'll see the chat button down low at the bottom, and it says chat, and you can write in there. There's also a Q&A that you can write in. I'm gonna let you look while I keep talking because I got lots of stuff to talk to you about. It looks like there's yay, Diane, you found me. Good, you found it. Good. I can see you. Yeah, and you can see me. We haven't seen each other before. I think it's kind of funny, when we go from individual coaching to our master level, we can all see each other. I think it's kind of interesting. I like it. I get like, "Ooh, hi." All right, you guys. I got some stuff I want to go over with you today, and I'm going to tell you why. And nobody, Michelle, you wrote me some things that you want, but nobody really wrote anything that they want to be coached about. Hey, Heidi, welcome. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Tell me if you can see me and you can hear me. Hear me, see me. Heidi, Heidi-O, Heidi-O. And what I want while I'm getting ready, if there's anybody that doesn't want to get coached today, doesn't want to come on video, yay, Heidi, you can see me. Good morning. Because I'm kind of hoping to bring everybody on except for Diane, because she wants to watch for the first time, like many of you do on your first time, and see what I do, see how scary it is. But, oh, Stephanie, welcome. She made it. Oh my God. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Stephanie's, I can't, she's coming on first today. Stephanie, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Stephanie, write in the chat, write in the Q&A, either or, I don't care. But tell me if you can see me, hear me. I know you're kind of getting your stuff together. I'm going to start talking. And Stephanie, I hope you see me and hear me because you're coming on, unless you tell me you don't want to come on. In which case I will not bring anybody on that does not want to come on. Okay, so from what I can see here, nobody's telling me they don't want to come on. Oh, somebody's in Q&A. Let's see who that is. Yeah, Stephanie. Okay, good. You can see me. You can hear me. Beautiful. Okay. And Stephanie, I'm probably going to bring you on today. You don't have any problems with that, do you? I would love to talk to you, so I think it'd be really good for you. And probably, yeah. Okay, good. All right. All right. So let me just talk to you about why I wanted to talk to you about this today. And then we'll move on and I'll coach people. And you know what I was thinking about? Because I notice that when I send out announcements when this is coming on and who wants to be coached, the longer this goes, the more people don't respond. So what I'm thinking is that, like, most coaching sessions, when I do them individually, I kind of know what I need to talk about just by talking to you for a few seconds. I can hear what needs to be done. So I am just going to do the same thing here. Is if you guys don't write about anything you want to be coached on, I'm assuming you want something other than to listen to me talk, because that's not the purpose of this, is for me to talk the whole time. And so unless you tell me you don't want to come on, I'm just going to bring you on and ask you what's happening. And I have a feeling we'll figure out something that you need to be coached on that's going to help you get a little closer to whatever it is that you want. Okay. All right. So what I want to talk to you today is about self-kindness and compassion again, because I just did my 200th episode that'll be coming out tomorrow. And what I have noticed over 200 episodes of doing the podcast and coaching people and listening to people is seriously the hardest thing to do, to understand, is self-kindness and self-compassion. It's really, and it really is the key to everything. And so, the book that I love the most, that I talk about all the time, Self-Compassion by Kristen Neff, is still my go-to book. And so I brought some things out from her book today. I know I've done it before, but I'm just going to keep doing it because it's like I've been living with myself for a long time. And my husband still has to say, "Can't you find a nicer way to be to yourself?" He still says that to me. I just can't even believe it. I teach this stuff, and yet I talk to him and he looks at me and he goes like, "Can you think of a nicer way?" And it makes me realize that I think that the way that we're really wired is just, we're not wired that way. We're wired because of the most primitive part of our brain, or the amygdala, which is really the proper name. Really, the purpose of it is to keep us safe. And the best way to keep us safe is to look for danger. And there's nothing more dangerous than us thinking about what's going on in the outside world and how we can protect ourselves. And the best way to protect ourselves is by scaring ourselves a lot. So I think we're wired a little bit to do that way and to look for the negative. And what Kristen Neff says in her book is, she says that there's 3 core components of self-compassion. And the first one is basically, it's self-kindness. And self-kindness means being gentle and understanding of ourselves. And I've said it to you a lot, you've heard it a lot, but it is like speaking to yourself like someone you truly loved, and doing it so automatically that you don't have to be questioned by your husband. Why can't you be nicer to yourself? Or by a coach, like, hey, let's think of this in a nicer way. But I think it's just, if you know that it's a little bit more wired, then I think you can accept that it's the way the brain likes to be. It's like doing you a favor. But because we're human beings, we do have a part of our brain that can see all of this in a totally different light and can respond in a different way, which means that we have the ability to use our brains to be kind to ourselves, to remind ourselves the way that we would do for somebody else. And it just takes practice. And this is probably the part that we've talked about the most. And it's still the most amount of stuff that we have to practice. But the second core component of self-kindness is common humanity, which means feeling connected with others in the experience of life rather than feeling isolated. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today before I go to coaching, because I want to teach you a tool that's called Just Like Me. I heard it from Pema Chodron. I've heard it from some of my colleagues. They've come up with making it their own tool. So I'm going to make it my own tool too. And I'm going to teach it to you based on the second component of self-compassion, which is that we are all connected, that we are all alike, much more than we are different. And yet I think the way our brains function, because we're always looking for danger, we're always comparing ourselves to others in the worst light possible, as if it's dangerous, instead of looking at ourselves with others and realizing how much we all need the exact same thing and how connected we are. So I'm going to go back to that in a minute once I explain the third component, which is mindfulness. You guys have talked about it a lot. You've all heard it. But mindfulness is when we hold our experience in balanced awareness rather than ignoring our pain or exaggerating it, which is probably the 2 things we do the most. We either want to push it away or we want to dramatize it, right? And the mindfulness is being able to observe what's actually going on using our prefrontal cortex and being able to watch our minds more than react to our minds. So when you put these 3 things together, according to Kristen Neff, probably one of the only experts that I really know who's done all the research in self-compassion, kind of like Brene Brown has done it with shame. They're kind of like sisters. And so with this, I want you to think about these 3 things as I coach you today with the component of common humanity. And this is how I want you to look at it. It's like, if we're more the same than we're different, then how are you more like me? not how am I different than you and you're better than me, because it's like I think about everyone I talk to. Well, yeah, everyone. I don't know if I'm exaggerating. I don't even think I am. I think it's everyone. Maybe not. There might, well, you guys can prove me wrong today, but you're not everyone. But like when I do the interviews, by the way, hats off to Michelle who just did an interview with me. If you guys heard it, you need to hear it. It was amazing. She is a guru with her mind. So she has learned how to manage her mind for sure and to see things in a much kinder way, because she's using a lot of mindfulness. She talks about it in the podcast, a lot about mindfulness. And the thing about how I'm more like you than different, that's the reason that I do these interviews, is for you to hear somebody else has gone through this experience and how we're all so much the same. But when I talk to my clients or I hear from other people, what they do, they use those interviews against themselves. How come I'm not like that? I'll never get where she is. How come she can do it and I can't? And because she did it, I'm not doing it. There's something wrong with me. And that's the second component of self-compassion, is the common humanity, not how we're different, how we're the same. So this is how I want you to think when you're out and about. And even today, when you're listening to calls and coaching calls, is think about the thought, just like me. And when you hear something go on, like say in a coaching call today, and you think, oh my God, that was amazing. I can't believe she said that. I can't believe she's there. Then I want you to think, how is she just like me? And I want your mind to look for it. Because I think what you're going to do is you're going to find how you're more the same than different. And the more that you can see the sameness, the more you can accept yourself and love yourself and be compassionate with yourself. And it's kind of like Pema talked about it, and she did an interview with Oprah with her new book called Welcoming the Unwelcome. Fantastic title, kind of like life. And one of the things that she said, it's like a really good place to do it is like in airports or in traffic. And I think a really good place to do it is on Facebook, really. Because it's like when I think a lot of people, when they go on Facebook, they want to put their best self out there. And so it looks really amazing and all of that. And then what our minds do is, oh my God, look at me compared to her. Oh, poor me. But if you thought about it in terms of how am I just like her, you might think I would want to put my best pictures up there too, things that I'm proud of, things that I've done. I would like to share that with people because it makes me feel good about myself. Just like me, she wants to feel good about herself by putting her best stuff out there. Or for instance, if you're in the airport and a flight is delayed, a really beautiful thing to do with your own mind is to be able to look at the people. Maybe somebody's throwing a fit. Maybe somebody's screaming at the person in the front desk. And then what you can do, because first what might happen is you either might go to judgment. How could she do that? Or what you could do is just go, just like me. She has someplace she wants to go. Or just like me, she feels frustrated because she's not going to get to where she wants to go when she wants to be there. Just like me. So that's what I want you guys to think about a little bit today. And, I've been thinking about wanting to use the self-compassion book a little bit more, some chapters. So I'm going to think about it as I'm coaching you and if I am, I'm going to send out a letter and give you a chapter to read so that you're all with me on it and give you something to think about before our next call. So if you kind of like that, you can tell me when I'm coaching you. All right, so what I want to do is I want to pull somebody up based on the core components of self-compassion, whatever is going on with you, and me using that with you as I coach you to try to help you get to wherever you're trying to go with being as kind as possible to yourself. All right, so I'm going to bring Stephanie up first because Stephanie, I think, has been gone for, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, a long time. And I want to see where she's at. You guys get to hear where she's at. and see where she needs to be coached. I know she's had a lot of circumstantial things going on. And I want to see how those circumstances have affected her and how I can help her in coaching. And I know however I help her in coaching, it'll help you too, because you guys are more the same than you are different. All right. So I'm going to bring her, I'm going to promote her to panelist, Stephanie. And Stephanie will be rejoining the webinar. Did she leave? I lost her. No, I didn't. Okay, there she is. I'm hoping. Stephanie, gorgeous picture. I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear me, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to bring you up. Hey, hang on.
Okay.
Okay, you can start your own video now.
Okay.
Be able to?
I think so.
There you are.
Hi.
Hi.
Coming to you from my hotel room.
Well, I guess that's part of what we're going to be talking about today, huh?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
I know there's a lot of circumstantial things going on. So for the sake of time, but at the same time, tell me circumstantially what's going on. Tell me what the problem is, and then tell me and then I'll figure out how to coach you. That's what I'm best at, is figuring out what you need. So you just talk.
Okay. Well, I mean, when it rains, it pours, and I won't get into all the things that are going on, but we had a pretty major flood at our house.
Yeah.
So we're living in a hotel, and my house is like torn apart, you know, like ceilings, walls, everything. And what initially happened was I was just in freak out mode and, stopped journaling. I did continue to eat between the twos, but I wasn't exercising. I wasn't sleeping right. I was just really stressed out. And what I noticed, the thing that really this is the positive out of this whole thing, is that I'm so aware of my body now. Mm-hmm. I realized, and I told my husband, I feel awful. Like, I'm not sleeping, I'm not exercising, I'm too many joy eats. I'm not following my protocol, and I don't feel good at all. And I noticed a huge difference. I gained 4 pounds. And I said, this has to stop. So I started going back to my house, and my kitchen isn't destroyed yet. So I started cooking and bringing things back to the hotel, and just exercising, even though I'm like, oh, there's no place to exercise. I'm just walking around the hotel in circles, because I got to be able to do something. So I'm proud of myself in one sense, that I was able to kind of pull myself back out of it, which I think is really good. But I'm frustrated that I let it throw me off the way it did.
Okay, I got it. All right, so we got a lot we can cover here. So what I want everybody to see first, and you, is we're going to look at your unintentional model first. So that's why everybody, when you're doing a model, you can fill it out just like me, as I'm hearing where I'm going to put everything. Like what you did more than anything is you told me the things that you're doing.
Okay.
Right? So I just put everything that you told me that you're doing in the A line.
Okay.
Too many joy eats, off protocol, not exercising.
Not sleeping.
Not sleeping. And you just said stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And could we be more specific with is the stress like overwhelm, or you said freak out stress, and I'm just wondering if you could be, you don't have to be, because I think that you know how it feels in your body, and you can probably tell me how strong it is. So if you want to get more specific, you can, but not absolutely necessary.
Okay. Yeah, no, in the beginning, it was pretty high. The stress level and the freak out was pretty high. Uh-huh. It's better now.
Okay, so we're going unintentionally first. So, and
Oh,
I want to go through it quickly because I see you bringing yourself out yourself.
mhm,
And I'm going to show you the process.
okay.
And then I'm going to show everybody else. I want you to see the process of the unintentional model, how you brought yourself to the intentional model. And then I want you to see the model that you're in now.
Okay.
Okay. So really quickly, the unintentional model has to do with the high level stress
Mhm,
and what it caused you to do.
mhm,
The intentional model that's going to come off of this is how you started bringing yourself back.
okay.
And I want you to see how you changed
Mhm.
and how you did it. And then I want to go to the model of your frustration of where you are right now about what happened.
Yeah.
So it can get pretty long, but there's not a lot of people that actually want to be coached today.
Okay.
So I think that we can learn a lot from this, and I think it'll be really helpful to you. So, and also I can put here, you're not on these calls either. We can put
Right.
that in the A line.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so stress that was causing all these actions. How
Hmm.
stressed? -10 is the worst.
Initially, I would say probably a -7 or -8.
So really, really strong in your body. Now, circumstantially, the circumstance is the house was flooded. Is that what this is all about? Okay, so that's a C.
Correct.
House flooded. There's probably some more facts in there too. You had to move to a hotel.
Sure. I mean, I'm in here with my dogs, and we've had all kinds of problems with my son's pump, his insulin pump. He has type 1 diabetes. It's been just really difficult to manage all the moving parts. My dad fell and broke his ribs. So there's just been a lot of stuff all at once. And the problem with the flood is it just took out so much of the house that there's so many things right now that we have to deal with, decisions to be made. You know, it's just constant. It's just a constant level of you got to hurry up and do this and this and this because the insurance is only going to pay for the hotel for so long and it's uninhabitable right now and so on and so forth. So it's just a lot of time pressure too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is neutral. You're not talking like it is.
I know. I know.
Right. And the reason that you're feeling so stressed really doesn't have to do with this. You know that, right?
Uh, well, I mean, it's certainly how I'm allowing myself to frame it and see it. And that's where I think when we get to the intentional
Yes.
model, we'll
So
see some.
let's just really quickly, just what's the thought? Because I think what it is just, it's constant. It's
It's
never going to end. I mean, you tell me what what is the thought that made you feel so strong inside of you that made you start eating, enjoy eating, and not sleeping and not coming to calls?
Yeah, I think it's just this feeling of, oh my gosh, I've been handling all this stuff with my protocol and everything with the regular stressors that everybody has in their lives.
The
But
regular stressors that you have in your life.
right,
You're making it sound like this is different.
I'm just saying, I think in my mind, I was like, okay, I don't even have access to my kitchen. Like,
Right. So what does that mean? I mean, just because you don't have access to your kitchen, you can put this in the C line. I can't use my kitchen. No kitchen.
yeah,
You can put that in the C line too. What do you
I,
make it mean?
I think the thought was just, oh gosh, everything I've worked toward with my protocol and Dr. Deb and everything, it's all going to slip away. That was the big concern.
Okay. Is it
Failure.
like I can't handle this?
Yeah, like overwhelm.
I can't handle, like, because I think what you said to me is that all the normal stressors that everybody has, like what you're saying is the normal stuff that I have, no problem. This is not normal.
Yeah,
This
that
is different.
feels different.
I think different. And that's all I want you to see is that it's really however you want to think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, sister. I understand. Yeah. But you still have an option, and we're going to see how you already brought yourself to that option.
Yeah.
But when this initially happened is I just can't handle all of this and
stay on protocol.
take care of myself,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And still take care of myself.
That's right. That's 100% right.
Because it's not just eating. It's not exercising, not sleeping, you're not on calls. And my guess is it's just how you start talking to yourself, how you start talking to other people, how you start reacting.
Yeah.
Do you find the sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Dr. Deb. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Cut me off. What did you say?
It's like so many things that got in the way of the calls frustrated me too, because I felt like the one lifeline I had was to have the calls, and even that got thwarted by all the circumstances. And so it just felt like, the universe is just conspiring against me to not be able to actually make this work. And
okay, so I'm going to stop you because it's all the same stuff you're telling me now. Okay, so the main thing that happened is that this all happened.
Yeah.
Right. When was that? How long ago was that? What was the date? About 2 months ago.
How long ago was it?
Actual blood was.
Is that your husband?
Yeah.
Tell that wonderful man I love him.
He's the best. My husband is honestly the best.
I know. I love him too. Tell him.
How long ago? She loves you too.
I love you too, Dr. Deb.
Thank you. You should. Okay. How long ago?
About a month ago? About a month ago.
Oh, it's just 4 weeks ago. Okay. So all of this in the C line is circumstantial, and that means it's neutral. And the only reason there's all of this emotion, this overwhelm, the only reason is because of this thought is that I can't handle all this and still take care of myself. Mm-hmm. Now, you tell me, Stephanie, I've known you a long time, but for the sake of everybody listening, have you ever thought that thought before?
Yes, only about 1 million times.
Right. So you just have to see that sometimes that C triggers the same T that's been wandering around. Right. And it doesn't have a strong neural pathway like it had, but it's wandering. Oh, yeah. And it's like, okay, this goes and you go, okay, that's it. I'm grabbing it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. And I'm going to believe it with all my heart, and I'm going to run with it. And so you did. And so this is what happened. And the result is you gain 4 pounds and feel terrible.
Yes.
Terrible in self. And don't take care of self. Mm-hmm. So the thought, I can't handle all this and still take care of myself, the result is not only you don't handle yourself, you gain 4 pounds, you feel terrible, and you don't take care of yourself. You prove it. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're right. You can't. Okay. Everybody see the unintentional thought. Did you see this? Did you kind of get it? Did you write it out, or did you just kind of let it fester for a while?
I didn't write it out. I didn't. But
okay. All right. So
when we get to the intentional model,
we're coming.
These all came to my mind. In other words, I was like, oh, I see the pattern now. I see the pattern of who, how I've let the old me try to step in and take over. And as Dr. Deb says, you get these thoughts and your little brain is like going to search for all the ways to prove it correct. And so these were all these, the good news is
there's lots of good news.
There's lots of good news. And one of the biggest things was, when I started with you, it was all about, I want to lose weight. And one of the big things about the podcast was, even if I didn't lose another pound, the way I feel is enough. I mean, yes, I want to lose more weight, but just the feeling of how I felt before and after the protocol, and how much that food plays a part into everything. And
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Okay. That wasn't, you didn't even start eating. You know what? The food definitely made a difference. There's no doubt about it. But what made the biggest difference, Stephanie, the work, the hardest work that we did was on your head.
oh, true.
Right. And it was when you could feel, when you started really feeling like you liked yourself, like you wanted to take care of yourself. That was the first 12 weeks. That's all that was.
True. That's true. I guess I'm just saying, because I let all of those up, we're talking more about I just realized that when I lost that weight, and at the time, I forget, it was like 10 or 12 pounds, which to me was like a drop in the bucket compared to what I wanted to lose. But given the fact that the way I felt physically, I hadn't felt like that physically in so long, that the big alarm bells went off in my head when I realized how crummy I felt.
Yes.
And I told my husband, I have no energy. I just feel, I can't, it's unbelievable to me that all the work that we did, and all of the eye-opening stuff with the mind body chart.
Yep.
It just, wow, it was quite an aha moment for me, which was great.
Right. So the aha moment, because we'll do the intentional, because I want you to know, and then maybe we don't have to go to the third model, is that for everybody that sees this, I think you should never do that again. Like, this should never happen.
Yeah, I do think that.
Right. And that's where I think the problem is that obviously it should, because it did.
Yeah.
And what I think is so amazing is that you're back on the call. You brought yourself back. And that's where I would go in your intentional model. And there may be no need to hit a third model, which is your frustration over you should have seen it sooner. Why did I do that? Because that's not self-kindness.
Yeah.
Right? That's using self-criticism to go, you know what? You should have figured that out a whole lot sooner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that you should have. And the reason that I think that is because you didn't.
Okay.
And you make it seem like there's something wrong. And I'm saying, I think that's what was right, is that you suffered, you saw your suffering, and you brought yourself back.
Yes, I agree.
And you could have gone years this way.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess I could have.
I think you probably have.
Yes.
But this was just 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're on the call with an intentional model that I don't even have to help you come up with.
Yeah.
The only thing you want to do is you want to go to the third model so you can tell me why you need to punish yourself that it took you so long to do it.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm actually really proud of myself that I
All right, let's go right here.
Okay. Yeah, I am. I'm proud of myself that I came back from the abyss. And
yeah,
I know you're going to correct me on this, but
I am.
You are. My thought was, Dr. Deb's in my head, but you're going to say to me, that's not you in my head, it's me in my head.
I am not in your head because I am here and I have not been with you. So I know I'm not in your head. You know, I mean, seriously, that's not a fact.
Well, everything you taught me was in my head. Let's put it that way.
And now it's yours.
And now it's mine. And I was so excited that I said to myself, no, you're going to go back to the kitchen. You're going to tear off the plastic. They're not in there right now. You can make some things. You can freeze some things. You can take some things to the hotel. We purposely got a hotel that has a little tiny kitchenette. And instead of being frustrated that I didn't have things I needed here to cook, I just brought the stuff from home that I needed to cook with, and I just handled my business. And started walking in circles around the hotel.
You back on your protocol?
Back on protocol, um, back on my exercise, the eating.
How about sleeping?
The sleeping's still a little bit funky. It's
Is
not.
it funky because of you, or is it funky because of something, something going on in your head, or is it because you're not putting yourself to sleep, or what?
Yeah, I think part of it is the fact that it's just I'm in the hotel and it's not as comfortable and that sort of thing as my own bed. But I do think there's a lot of mental stuff going on, and I think that the last piece for me is just this: don't go to the beating yourself up over it. Go to the kindness, like you were talking about, and realize instead of seeing it from the negative point of view, negative being you had this happen, you let it throw you off track. Go to the positive, which is it threw you off track, and yet here you are bringing yourself back again.
I love
So,
it. I love it. I love it. So I think, and you can tell me where I'm wrong, but I think you ended up creating a feeling of determination. Right? And that's what led to you, okay, I'm going back to the kitchen, I'm getting the food, I'm going to start walking. You just said, okay, this is what we're doing.
yep.
Right? And it doesn't sound mean. It sounds like, come on, sweetheart, let's get going.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So what was the thought with the same circumstance going on? What was the thought that instead of overwhelmed came to determined? What did you think instead? What did you bring yourself to? Because if everybody's watching this, I think you probably went in steps, but this is where you are right now. So because I don't know that you can just go from overwhelmed to determination in one day, but I think it's like when you sit with yourself long enough and you see what's going on long enough and you still have awareness, which you do, you can have awareness and not be able to do anything
Mm-hmm.
because the emotion is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have to have compassion
Mm-hmm.
for that strong emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was a step that you skipped, is that the suffering, your own suffering.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's okay that you feel like this. Of course you do. I know, sweetheart, it's really hard for you right now.
Yeah.
And maybe you did that, but whatever you did, you then came to this.
Yes.
And you thought to yourself instead, what, when you felt determined?
That the greatest act of comforting myself in a difficult time is not eating a donut. It's getting to the point where I can still be kind to myself and achieve the things I want to achieve and feel the way I want to feel, even under really difficult circumstances. And there's really no greater gift I can give myself, honestly.
And that's why you're in the master's program. I didn't even help you get there.
Well, you did, but
No. I mean, I'm talking about on this coaching call.
yeah,
You just came to this coaching call saying, I was a mess
yeah,
and now I'm not. But here, let me tell you how I did it.
right. Sort of. I mean, I'm still struggling with it all, though. I am.
Well, okay. So the thought is what? I'm going to take care of myself no matter what. I still have the option to take care of myself. Just because it's hard doesn't mean I still can't take care of myself. What was it?
I'm going to take care of myself no matter what. No matter what.
So you noticed that all of this stuff was going on and that there was still a choice on how you could treat yourself. And you said, I'm still going to take care of myself no matter what.
Yes.
And everybody heard all the different thoughts that you said. But in the end, I think that's what made you feel determined to do this stuff.
Yes.
I still have the option to take care of myself no matter what. I still have that option. It's like the option didn't go away just because for 3 or 4 weeks you didn't.
Right. And I think for me, I was saying to myself, this is either who you are and how you treat yourself, or it's not. And if it's who you are, then you just do it regardless of what happens. Because if there was ever a time you needed to do it, it was during the times of the most difficulty, the most stress, to give yourself that structure, that balance, this is when I need to be my best friend most of all.
I love it. You got so many great thoughts, but I'm going to go to, you need to take care of yourself
No.
more now than ever. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's the most compassionate thing you could possibly do for yourself. And of course, what happens? What's the result of that thought?
Well, I'm starting to feel better. That's the first result.
Feel better, and you're taking care of yourself
I am.
based on the thought that you still need to take care of yourself more now than ever. And so now you're taking care of yourself now.
And that mean girl inside of me will say things like, oh, so what? Okay, good for you. Wow, you finally got your act together. But, you really don't have your act together. Why? Because, you're not working out as hard as you were before, and you're not sleeping as well, and you still don't feel as good as you did. And, like she's just, she's in there, and she's just
Okay,
really,
she is you,
I know.
and it's just a thought. There's
Yeah.
nobody inside of you.
She's
It's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you thinking thoughts,
Okay.
right? And all you're saying to me is, I got a lot of thoughts running around here, and some of them are not very good, and I'm still thinking they might be real.
They're determined too to try to be heard. So
Okay. All right. So what if we put the circumstance now as back on protocol, started walking, after 4 weeks of not, okay?
Mhm.
That's a fact.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that? So you're
Good.
telling me, you're giving me some you're giving me some negative emotion. I want you to see it. So you
Well,
don't feel good about it. You still said, I still have, what do you still have that's
my
bothering you?
inner critic is like, so you're walking around a hotel, you were walking big giant hills.
You're not doing enough?
Yeah, you're not doing enough.
I'm
You're
still not doing enough.
Yeah, still not doing enough. Yeah.
You ever thought that before?
Many times.
Right. And so just be aware
Okay.
that being back on protocol and starting your walking after 4 weeks of not, that you still think it's still not enough.
Right.
And that when you think that, how do you feel?
I feel really bad. I feel, upset with myself or disappointed with myself. Scared.
Disappointed. How disappointed do you feel? -10's the worst.
When I have those feelings,
When you're thinking this,
yeah, I feel it's bad. I mean,
how bad? -10's the worst.
I would say it can be up to a -7 or a -8.
Yeah. So what happens when you start, here you are bringing yourself back up in the circumstance, right? Okay. And then you think, you know what, Stephanie, you were doing so much more before, right? It's like that. You were doing so much. It might even be more of that. You see, guys, when I'm doing models, I got to mess with it too. And I'll change my thoughts a little bit before I create a real model, because you have lots of different thoughts. But I think probably the thought that's driving it the most is like, probably down, if you get right down to it, I'm still not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that that's probably a very relevant thought is because you've gone there many times before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real common thought that you can go, oh yeah, I remember you, come on.
Yeah.
I probably just keep it like that, even though everyone can hear and you can hear, you got other stuff to go with it. Like once you start going down that track, it's just like this negative spin cycle of, well, let me add some more thoughts to that.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much I was doing. Then you go back in the past and you go, oh, remember when you were doing this and you were getting on the scale and you were losing all this weight and you were blah, blah, blah. And now look at you.
Right.
What the hell is your problem?
Right.
That's not called self-compassion.
Exactly.
Right? Right. And so it's like, when you think you're not doing enough and you feel disappointed, and this is our third model, right? So we have our unintentional, we have our intentional. is that, what was it? Darn it. You need to take care of yourself no matter what.
Yeah.
You, in the end, you might be able to just bring yourself back to this is almost like just another unintentional model.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like an unintentional model off of a new C.
Yeah.
Coming back. And then instead of saying how proud you are, which you alluded that you do that.
I do.
Right. All you have to do is just do that more. That's the practice.
That's essentially what I do. Yeah. It's like when I go there, I stop and I say, how does this further my goal? And you were talking about mindfulness. And I feel like instead of catastrophizing the whole thing, like, oh my God, I'm out of my house and blah, 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 it's going to be weeks and all this stuff and blah, 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 and how much money? I'm like, okay, you're just going to take this one step at a time because you don't, insurance is going to pay for part of it. And
okay, I'm going to stop you. Okay, so this is what I think you actually did. Brilliant. I know a lot of you have done this before too, and that's why you guys are masters in this class, is you interrupted your own model.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you actually went through the whole model. I think you stopped right here at the F line.
Yeah, I think so.
You started to feel the disappointment and you interrupted yourself and you created another model.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Mm-hmm.
You see how brilliant you are? I mean, the only thing probably you're going to get out of this call is that you're a lot more brilliant than you gave yourself credit for. Because I'll tell you what, you did exactly what I would do if I was coaching you.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign.
Right. Yeah. And I think the only thing that you do that I wouldn't do is I wouldn't punish you because you're not doing as much.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wouldn't do. And it's the only thing that I'm going to ask you to maybe skip that step.
Okay.
You already interrupted it.
I did.
So maybe you can just, like when the thought goes, Stephanie, after all this and all you've done, this is really not, you could do a whole lot better than this.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, thanks for coming by. Thanks for saying hello. But I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got this. It's like, do you realize, Stephanie, that if you can do this for the rest of your life, you've got this?
Yeah.
It's not if you never have anything negative ever happen to you or you never have another negative emotion.
Yeah.
It's if you have the awareness to know that you can catch it at some point in time and bring yourself back. And that's what I talk to all of you about, is this whole idea of coming back. You just came back. You're a perfect example of coming back.
But are you saying that little inner critic, just no matter
it's not an inner critic, it's just a thought. It's just a negative thought that you've been thinking a lot.
Those negative thoughts, like even someone like you who's done this for so long.
Someone like me, yeah.
You still fight these things sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just think it's part of the human experience. I think that's like why she wrote this whole book. It's just like kind of like, here's some more exercises and things that you can do to remind yourself, because it's not something that I think it's inborn or innate. I really don't think it is. Any more than I think it's innate in us to know that we have thoughts about how we want to manage our minds and our thinking.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But we have the capacity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're human beings, we do have that capacity.
Right.
So I think you've taken that, and I think you've totally created beautiful models for yourself. And you're in a beautiful place right now. If you will just accept where you are and know that if this is okay, it actually will get better. What you're going to do if you stick with your disappointment is you will make it worse.
Yeah.
By the negative emotion.
Yeah.
If you're disappointed in yourself, you're going to do things that are going to show your disappointment. You interrupted it, which is the best thing that you could do. And now maybe next time you can just wave at it.
Yeah.
And just go, what, sweetheart? This is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard not being in your house. This is all hard, but you have the option to be able to take care of yourself no matter what. That you can make yourself a number one priority no matter what. No matter what. And so what's going to happen inside of your brain from this circumstance is you're just going to get stronger. And that's the purpose of negative experiences.
Ah, okay.
It's
So
just
it as a chance to strengthen the muscles.
strengthen you
Yeah.
in yourself and know that you have got yourself.
I had no idea you were going to say this. Thank you.
What did I say that's making you cry?
That if I can do that, then I've got this.
You feel true?
Yeah. Because starting this call, all I could feel was, yes, I was pulling myself out of it, but I was just, there was so much negativity attached to it.
Not so much negativity. Not so much. Just
Yeah.
one little thought that just kept going. I don't know. Are you doing enough? I really do think you could be doing better. Can't you get with the program just a little bit more? Come on, really, Stephanie. Like, don't you think?
Yeah.
And it's like, I really think I'm doing my best. And I think that if I think I'm doing my best, I'll even do better.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's almost like you start strengthening yourself. It's like you bring yourself back.
Yeah.
And when you bring yourself back, it's almost like, okay, sweetheart, you can do this. All right. Today, one foot in front of the other. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's like taking one of your little kids.
Yeah.
They're so little, but especially when they were little, it's like, and they're all upset and they don't want to do something. And it's like, how do you very gently?
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
You can do. And pretty soon they can do it. And pretty soon they feel good. And pretty soon they feel strong. And it's over.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing for yourself. And it's like, there's nobody coming to take care of us. It's us.
Yeah.
Now it's us taking care of ourselves. And it's the best, most compassionate gift that we can give ourselves is to do that.
Yeah.
And to hold that emotion in us. Like when you were feeling that overwhelmed, the best thing that you could do is to go, sweetheart, this is hard right now. Yeah, your house, this, that. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And it's like, in the self-compassion book, it talks about giving yourself a hug. It's like, you don't have to wait for somebody to give you a hug, even though probably your husband probably did, knowing him. He probably did. But, you can do it better.
Well, you always say, what would you do for a friend or your child?
Right, I know what you would do.
And it's true. We have to learn to treat ourselves the way we would treat somebody else.
All right. Well, what I want to tell you is you have done that. You're just questioning now that you've done it, that you just didn't do it enough or it wasn't good enough. That's it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, just let go of that and you're good.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
I know. I'm so proud of you. And so are you. And I bet everybody on this call. So what I'm going to do is I am going to say goodbye to you. And I'm going to stay on the call for maybe another 15 minutes. I want to bring Heidi up here for a minute. I hope Heidi isn't going to hide from me because I'm going to bring her up. Because you guys have a lot of similarities. So I just want to see what she got from this. And Michelle just said in the chat how much she got out of this. Because I know that what you just shared, Stephanie, I know everybody on this call. So I can tell you that it'll help everybody.
Good.
Your own vulnerability.
Good. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sweetheart. I love you. I'm going to say goodbye.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, that was pretty amazing with Stephanie. I know she taught you guys so much. I want to bring Heidi on because there's some similarities between the two. I'm going to spend up to 20 minutes coaching her and let's see where we can go. Let's see what she needs, if anything. But see, Heidi, I'm promoting you to panelist. And I'm going to bring you on. I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear me? I can see you. Hey, there you are.
Hi.
Hi. How are you, sweetheart?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Good. I thought I was off the hook. I thought we were almost done.
Well, I know. I bet you did think that. Oh, did you want to be off the hook? I won't put you
No,
on
no,
the
no.
hook.
I'm okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm okay.
So, talking to Stephanie makes me think about you. Did you relate to
too.
some of the stuff she was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, that catching yourself and realizing that that's the victory. That I would have gone down a road. I've been struggling with knee pain the last week from over exercising.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't been sleeping well, and I've been way off, not way off, but intermittent fasting, but not making good choices, not eating between the twos. And I kind of last night had a little pity party where I kind of just almost gave up on myself. Like I thought, it just isn't working. It's just not, I clearly haven't learned anything. And just listening to Stephanie this morning, it's like, no, because here I am this morning, I'm on this call, I'm drinking my bulletproof coffee because it's another day of intermittent fasting. And it's just literally one day at a time. And just, my knee's better now. And, I just am catching myself. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I'm being much nicer to myself than I would have been, before working with you, because
you were terrible. I'm telling you, you were terrible. I am here to tell everybody that you were so mean to yourself. You were. And I am everybody on this call, I'm the most proud of where you've brought yourself in terms of how you've been able to turn yourself around into allowing yourself to be so kind, because it really was something you didn't allow. It's like you're an attorney, and it's like, that's just something that's not allowed.
Well, and the divorce didn't help, but
I think the divorce actually helped. It's an interesting thought that you think that it didn't.
I think it took what I thought I was good at and knew, being married,
Mm-hmm.
being a partner,
Mm-hmm.
being a mom, which, hasn't changed. I'm just a mom, on my own now instead of in a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
But it took that, and, the fact that, I was fat the whole time I was married, and he loved me anyway, and then that he did.
Well, yeah, but did you love you anyway?
No.
Right. Which is more of the problem.
Right. So it's allowed me to look at that with new eyes.
So all I'm saying is, you said the divorce didn't help. And I'm saying, I think the divorce actually helped. Because
it helps me get into gear in terms of looking at self-love. Yes, for sure. For sure.
I don't know. I don't really want to coach you on this, even though this might be something that we might want to coach on, because it has come up on occasion. We haven't done a lot of coaching around it, is on this divorce and your thoughts around it, just by what I heard. That it's because I don't think you could ever be where you are if it wasn't for that. And obviously, and I say obviously because that's what happened, it was meant to be for you. It was in your cards. That's just my own thoughts about it. And it's only because when we fight with reality, we always lose. When we fight with what is, we always lose. So I know a little bit about your own tendencies with your mind. So I know you have this belief in spirituality and universal, that the universe is always conspiring in our best interest. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to go there on that, other than I'm seeing that it's tearing you up. And I think it's just coming into this other stuff that you're talking to me about right now. And I think we're just going to use all of it. because what you're saying to me, well, I mean, it started out with the knee pain, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it went into your thoughts.
Uh-huh.
And then once you went into your thought took you back to your divorce. You see, it just kind of started taking you back, right? And then it started taking you back, and it started making you feel worse. And that's why you said that the divorce didn't help, because that's just your thoughts going down memory lane.
Yeah.
You know, here, let me help you. Oh, you feel bad? Oh, let me get you some more stuff. Let's go back and look at some other stuff. Then you can really feel like shit.
Pity party.
Yes. So, is the feeling pity that led to being off protocol and not sleeping? Is the circumstance knee pain? Is that where?
Yeah. Yes. Knee pain.
Is that where this started?
Yes.
Where did this action come from?
It was knee pain related to working out, which is part of, my protocol for getting myself, where healthy the way I want to be is, I ramped up my training, and then my training got me injured, and then, oh crap, now I'm going to never lose weight. And so it was
Knee injury.
Yes.
From working out.
Yes.
And the thought is, I'll never be able to do what I need to do now to lose weight.
Right.
Is that what it is? Like, you're making this mean you can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't lose weight. I can't take care of myself. I can't
lose weight, feel the way I want to feel, look the way I want to look if I can't, work out at a higher level.
I can't take care of myself if I can't exercise.
Yes.
What's this got to do with it? This is the circumstance right here. Knee injury from working out, right? It's a C, it's neutral.
What's it got to do with the thought?
Well, I'm just trying to think what you're thinking about this that's making you feel like feel disenabled, right? Like you can't.
I mean, I think what I have thought about over the past week or so is that here we go again, like me trying to find an excuse, not this is why I can never look the way I want to look. This is why I can never lose the weight, because I keep, I get injured. Here I am doing all the right things, and then I get injured, and now I can't, I might as well just eat. Even though I'm still going to the gym and I'm working out my upper body and I'm modifying and I have a trainer that's helping me with that, that's where I feel like that's all the good things. That's the things.
That's your circumstance. That's your circumstance. It's what you think about that. You're very similar to Stephanie. You got the exact same thing going on. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly. That's where Stephanie totally resonated.
You've taken this knee injury from working out. This is why I can't. I'm just going to lose weight.
Yes.
Feeling pity.
Yes.
Off protocol, not sleeping, probably beating the shit out of yourself, knowing you. Right?
Yes.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say beating the shit out of myself, but giving myself an excuse to just chuck it.
So that's, I think, because when you feel pity for yourself, what you do in your A-line is you try to make yourself feel better.
Yes.
By eating.
Yes.
Try to feel, it's like rewarding yourself with food. Poor baby, right? I mean, I've seen this model before on you.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, and so the result is this is why I can't lose weight. The result is you're off protocol, you're not sleeping, you're rewarding yourself with food. You are providing evidence as to why you can't do this.
That's right.
I can't do it. I prove it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you said to me, this is a Stephanie model. Your C line is still going to gym. I think I'm not even going to an intentional model from there because of time. I just want to go to where you are right now because I think like you have an intentional model that's really quite positive, which is why you're still doing this, all the C stuff. Like, why are you
Right.
still doing all this? You're still going to the gym. What else are you
Mhm.
still doing?
And
Intermittent
intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm.
You're doing upper body in the gym.
Mm-hmm. I'm still
So,
eating healthy meals. You know, I'm
well,
still
if
eating.
we're going to put it in the C line, we can, you're off, are still
I'm
choosing.
off protocol, but I'm not, I haven't chucked it all. You know what I'm saying? I still have a healthy lunch, you know, and then a healthy dinner.
Still choosing fuel food, just still choosing fuel food.
Choosing fuel foods, yes.
This is kind of like Stephanie too, where she was saying she's always been eating between the twos. There's a lot of things she was still doing too, right?
Yes.
Well, but not paying attention to because it wasn't enough and it was terrible. But okay, so here's the thing for lack of time is that where you were going when you're here with me is this is not enough. And when you think that it's not enough and it makes you feel kind of hopeless, helpless, some kind of negative emotion, it actually keeps you from doing the things that would help you more. You're probably going to do less. It's going to help you go farther away from this, not better. You're going to try to make it worse by negative emotion. Can you see that without me writing this out?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I see it.
So the only thing I want to do is I just want to take you where I took Stephanie. Is like, how do you want to feel about this? How do you want to feel? You get to choose. What you were choosing was disappointed.
Yeah, good. I want to feel like good job. Way to go.
Well,
you know, you're moving in the right direction.
it's a whole lot better than telling yourself, what the fuck, this isn't enough. You'll never get it like this. Because it's not true. You're not telling me a fact that you'll never get to where you want to go from the C. That's a thought you have that will keep you from getting there.
Mm-hmm.
The thought will keep you from getting there. Not the C. You'll be able, you need to go back and listen to this video. You need to, don't write now, write it later. Listen to me. That's the beauty of these recordings. When you guys are being coached, go back and watch it. Because then you'll see it really clearly, because you're going to see where your mind's going and you're going to see me coaching you. You'll see it. So you just have one thing you have to do. That will create that, and that. How many years, God, how many years do you think you've been on the merry-go-round of, you know, getting on some kind of protocol and getting off and then beating yourself up and going away for years and years and years and then coming back and trying it again?
48 years.
Okay. And so like what wants to happen here is your thought just wants to come up and just do the same thing to you. Right. And let's just chuck it.
Right.
The reason you've gotten to where you are is because you decided not to do that, because you decided that you're much more worthy than you ever thought you were, right? Because you started liking yourself, because you thought, you know what, even if I never lose a pound, I'm a worthy, wonderful person. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No, that's true.
Okay. I mean, you told
the
me
other
that.
Stuff tries to sneak in there, but that's true.
I know.
More often
I mean,
than
it's just
not
those
now.
thoughts. Those thoughts, they're not sneaking. They're just up there. They're just up there, and they're only sneaking because you see them and you want to grab them. And you need to just kind of let them pass by. Mindfulness and awareness is seeing those thoughts and going like, bye-bye. You can go.
Right.
Thanks for visiting. Thanks for coming and saying hello. Goodbye.
Yep.
You won't serve me. So, what do you want to think and feel and act to go back on protocol immediately? What do you want to think and feel? Because in order to do that, you have to think something. Like, what if, I mean, like, if you only went to the gym, like when you go to the gym and do whatever it is you do now, do you feel better when you're done?
Absolutely.
I know. I mean, that's really the purpose. It's not like to work yourself and grind yourself into the ground. But I mean, if that's what you're doing and you like the results and all of that, but if you hurt yourself, that's also like, hello, you know, like pay attention. Like, is there a way for you, like if you want to continue working out really hard and you're really liking it, then you're going to become a better body whisperer of knowing when it's too much.
Right.
You learn something.
Well, like I've been working out with a trainer now for, many months, several months.
Yeah.
And
Yahoo!
and she's amazing and intense.
Well, you're amazing.
Well, thank you. But she pushes me, but then she wanted to take me to work out with her trainer at CrossFit. And I did that 3 times and that's how I got injured because
but that's not how you got injured.
Well,
the way you got injured is because something happened in your body and you just didn't feel it or you weren't aware.
Yeah.
Right. So
I guess, yeah. The reason I said that is just because I think I was that part of me that thinks I need to do more, pushed.
Yeah.
And then my body said, okay, well, part of me was like, who do you think you are? You're 56 and, way overweight. And what do you think you're doing? And then I kind of pushed those thoughts to the side and thought, so what? I'm capable of this. I can do this. Mm-hmm. And I still got injured. So then I got I got a little confused on what I was supposed to be feeling.
You're supposed to be feeling your physical body. Right. And so that's when the mind cannot run the show. Your mind can say you can do this. But then if your physical body says, no, you can't, then you stop and slow down. When I talk a lot about the body whisper, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's now that you're 56, you have the wisdom to know that your body tells you when and what you can do. And if it talks to you, you need to listen to it when it whispers. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you can have a trainer tell you anything they want, show you anything they want, but you're the one that has to know if it's okay for you. How do you know?
That's right.
Because you can tell how it feels. So it's a really valuable lesson for you about working out that in the end, who's the boss? You are. And she can say, go harder. And you can say, no, I can't. And the reason I can't is because it hurts and I know I'm going to hurt myself. So it's a really beautiful lesson for you. Not something terrible about you because you hurt your knee. You hurt your knee because either you didn't listen, you didn't know, who knows? But for sure, you know something you didn't know before.
Right.
And for sure, what it doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with taking care of yourself. If you can't work out because of your knee, you do other things. And you can still feel good. And you can still eat on protocol. And you can still do your intermittent fasting, which is part of your protocol. You can still do all of those things, even though you can't do that. So the worst thing that happened to you when you hurt your knee is that your brain went to a bad place. Not that you hurt your knee.
That's right.
So, huh?
That's right.
Right. And so now that you're doing all of this, what do you want to think? And what do you want to feel? So you can go back on protocol. Because it's always about coming back, Heidi. It's just about coming back. It'll happen again. Something else will happen. And you might leave for a day or 2 or an hour or 2 hours or whatever. You may fog, you may storm, something may happen. And then you have the right and you have the ability just to bring yourself back learn a little something and just move on. It's a way to a healthy body. It's a way to a body that can weigh what you want it to weigh. With that, it's the comeback.
So what occurs to me is the thought is I'm doing the best I can, but that doesn't feel positive enough.
Okay.
I want to think, great job, way to be flexible, way to figure it out. You know, that's the thought I want, is like, it's enough. It's enough.
And so I think what you want to feel is you want to feel motivated.
I want to feel motivated and successful.
And what?
Successful.
Successful? Okay. So I think you want to feel, I think even more than successful, you want to feel motivated to do this.
Yes, I do.
Right? So if you want to feel motivated or determined, I think Stephanie was with determined. Motivated or determined, what do you want to think? It's like all I have to do is go back on protocol. Because the only thing you're not doing is you're not on protocol. Like, this is great. Now all I have to do is go back on protocol. I'm back. How about I'm back?
Okay. That's the thought. I'm back.
What does that make you feel like? I can always come back. I can always, boy, well, I have everybody on here for a couple minutes. Like, you could put in the chat button. You guys have a thought for Heidi? I just think it's really smart for everybody just to look at it. You guys are all thinking about it. It's like Michelle said, you can look in the chat button too. Let me see. I'm doing what I can. Uh-huh.
And that's enough.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
My brain immediately says, but it's not enough because look at you. You're, so far from your goals.
Oh, look at Stephanie said, I have my mind managed, and that's everything.
I like that.
It's like, it's like you have to give yourself credit with where you are without your brain trying to tell you it's not enough. Because that's just that's a neural pathway that's so well ingrained in you that it just sounds the most real to you. It's like, well, how can I go back there? Right. And so it's the practice of keeping yourself, not going back there, but feeling the urge. Talk about urges. It's the urge to tell yourself it's not enough.
Right.
It's just an urge. Michelle says, when I'm injured, I need to care for myself the best I can. Yeah. And I think I even like that because it's like when I'm injured and I need to take, and I can still take, even when I'm injured, I can still take care of myself.
Yes.
Even when I'm injured, I can still lose weight. Even when I'm injured, that doesn't mean I can't continue taking care of myself. I think you were making it mean all is lost. I like that one for you.
And even though I'm injured, I can still eat on protocol.
I like that the best. Even though I'm injured, it's a better time to be on protocol. Because
That's right.
One thing you know for sure, that when you are not eating sugar and flour, it's when your body feels its best.
Right. That's right. And
so,
can heal.
like,
and all
would
the
you
other
like
stuff.
to heal a little faster with your knee?
Right. Right.
Even though, because I'm injured, I need to get back on protocol.
Yes.
You like that? I like that the best myself.
I like
that would motivate me.
Yes.
All right. So with help of the team,
Thanks,
because
team.
I'm injured, it's the best time to go back on protocol.
I like that.
Make you feel motivated?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Action, you go back on protocol. Result, you approve the thought. Go back on protocol. and feel better. Done.
Thank you, team.
That was really, really good. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about this next week, Heidi, because I think it's really, really important. A big hug to Heidi from Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie, she's your
Thank
soul
you,
sister.
Stephanie. To you
We're-
too.
You know what? We're all really soul sisters because this is the same for all of us. And that's what I want you to think about for the next couple of weeks is just like me. You know, like I want you to think like when you were listening to Stephanie, just like me. I'm trying to do the best I can for myself, just like me. I tell myself I'm not doing it. Just like me, she wants to be the best she can by telling herself she's not doing enough,
Yeah.
just like me. Right? Just like
Right.
me, she wants to be at her best. And it helps you feel more at one with everybody else, right? Like you're not separate. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose of this call is for you to see that. So I really think like it would be a really good idea for everybody to read the core components of self-compassion in this book. And it's called Self-Compassion, Kristen Neff. You'll get it on the video. And it'll be part 2, which is the core components, what I wrote down today. And the other chapter that I really liked, well, that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll probably send something else out. I just want you to read the core components. It'll help you immensely. Okay? Everybody, I'm going to say goodbye to you, Heidi, as I say goodbye to everybody
Okay.
else.
Thank
I
you,
think
Dr.
everybody
Deb.
here knows what to do. And if you want to know what to do, you have to know what you're thinking. And you're totally in charge of that. All of you. All right? See you the third Thursday of the month, whenever that is. You'll get reminders. You need anything? Email me. Otherwise, go do your thing. Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.